Hey guys, Dacia here. So I've seen this come up a lot recently with Battle for Azeroth coming out. People are wanting to know how to start making their own add-ons and how they can access the art files and Blizzard's own add-on code in the game. So I'm going to show you how to do that, how to get, where the programming tutorials, how to get started, what forums to go to get help if you need it, where you should upload your add-ons so people can actually download it, and maybe how you can get into beta and make a little bit of money. Okay, so here is a post I have made. I've copied this a few times because people keep asking, so I thought I'd make a video. And I think what I would have you do first is extract the user interface from the game. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And so what we need to do is we need to open the launcher, make sure we're on World of Warcraft, go to Options and Game Settings, and make sure it's on Game Settings, right, on the left as well. And then we're going to find World of Warcraft. And this will work with the beta and the PTR if you have PTR installed. And you want to click Additional Command Line Arguments, and you'll type dash or minus console. Hit done, and you're done. And so now there are two commands that we can use: export interface files code and export interface files art. So we will do the code first because it's faster, and then we will do the art. So we log in here. I'm doing this on beta, it doesn't matter, works on all three, beta, live, and PTR. And this is the best way to keep everything up to date, to get the literal up-to-date release of what's going on. And if you're on live, it's only going to work on live. So if you're trying to get something set up for the patch or the expansion coming out, you need to make sure that you're doing this on PTR or beta. I hope that's obvious. In case it isn't, that's what I said. All right. So anyway, we want to hit now the tilde key, and that is the key directly to the left of the 1 key underneath the escape key on a typical Windows keyboard. And we'll see this pop up. And I'm going to paste into there the export interface files code command. And you see it's staggered there for a second, and we're going to do the art, and the art is going to take a bit. And we will freeze when we do the art. So here's the art, and your client will freeze like this. And just wait a few seconds. You'll see the particle effects start spinning around again, and your character will start shaking their butt, and we'll know that we are done. Do to do, do to do to do to do. So how about that football team, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yay. Awesome. Finally. So now we can go to our World of Warcraft folder, and here we can see we now have a Blizzard Interface Art folder and a Blizzard Interface Code folder. So let's go to the art first. So if you're going to be using this, this is case sensitive, so you need to make sure that like achievement frame is all capitalized. You need to make sure that, you know, here allied races, the R is capitalized. And we can go in here, and here you can see that I can, on my computer, I can see the actual files. Now, when you first extract this, you will not. You'll just see a blank preview of what the file is. So, go to WoW interface, and there's a program called BLP View, and you'll install that, and it will let you view those files. There is another program, I think it's called BLP Converter. I can't find it right now. It may be on my other computer. But anyway, it lets you convert BLPs to PNG and then turn them back into BLPs. I, I don't recall if you can use PNG as a format. I think you can, but don't quote me on that. You can use a TIFF format, and so like if I wanted to take this and change it a little bit, I could convert it to PNG, do my changes in GIMP or Photoshop or whatever, convert it back, and then I could use it. But you would have to put it into your own folder. So in the interface. So here you can see I've taken all the icons and I've blown them up and then trimmed them, kind of cropped them, and put a border on there so that they look like this instead of the typical where it's got the gray border and the corners have a little radius on them, and so that's an example of something you could do. This was just a big batch thing I did. So anyway, and that would just be, so this is going to look for this by itself, right? So you can change stuff that you want, and that's kind of the default of what Blizzard does. Is it goes here to this folder and it looks for these files, and if you have files, your files will override Blizzard's default files. That's the way it works. Same with your interface, your add-on stuff here, right? So that is the art stuff, and that's where you'll find those. There are some places online that have all these art assets, but it's a lot easier to look in game, or I'm sorry, on your computer with the BLP view and find what you're looking for instead of trying to go online into it. So anyway, so if we look at the code, and here you can see this, I'm on live. If you look at the code, this is going to be a frame XML, and I sort by Lua source so that we aren't looking at the XML files, which I don't use except for key binding stuff. And you can go through here. And the thing here, the reason that you want to do this and look through here is because a lot of stuff isn't documented. Blizzard does put changes and stuff out, like what they've changed, but there isn't like they don't produce like a manual of everything. It's all, basically people have just gone through all these files, seeing what Blizzard's using. They're using Lua. They have a few functions of their own, like off the top of my head, they have like some special math functions that they have to make things faster, easier, whatever. But they go through all this, and this is what is documented and how Blizzard's using it. And you'll see that they have kind of their own internal functions. I can't find any right now. But anyway, they'll have some references to functions and what they do. And you're like, where is this? I don't know. Well, it's one that you can't really access. You have to put your own parameters in and then do whatever. But you could like copy this function here and then just change, I also want to do this, blah blah blah, and there you go. Now you have a new function, and the game, like I said, it will go and use this function instead of the default function, right? So you won't be actually editing exactly, right? You'll be editing your own stuff, and then Blizzard will just the game will just override it, if that makes sense. But because this isn't documented, when you're looking for stuff, so for example, the two examples I'll give is from my big add-on, Days of Character Stats, I am looking for stuff related to the paper doll frame. So, somewhere this is listed, on some big repository of all of Blizzard's code, but it doesn't really explain what's going on. Or anything like that. So here I'm going to have to come in here and kind of see what their tables are, see what their functions are, and you'll find stuff on how to use their functions and Lua syntax and all that stuff. But you're not going to find like a list. Okay, so this is all of the stats that they're using. This is the name of the stat. Okay, so this is their format. This is the function they're calling. This is how they're doing it. They got this other thing called LE stats. Agility and strength. Okay, so that's doing a special thing, and we'll see that. So I can add my own. That is, whatever, super speed, and I can make that, right? What I do myself is we just copy this to our own function, rename it, and that way we aren't editing this. So anybody that's coming along and is using this default isn't going to get messed up if they're using our add-on as well, right? We're not overriding that, so that's something to look out for. But that's kind of more advanced stuff. But that's kind of the gist of how it works. What you do overrides what Blizzard does. Another example is you have to think outside the box sometimes. So Garrison, this is a great example because they reuse code, right? So if you're trying to find something with the class Order Halls, right, and you can't find it, you can't figure it out, then think, okay, what is similar to that? Well, the garrisons are. Okay, so maybe what you're looking for is actually just carried over from the garrison stuff, and you can go look in the garrison code and see if that's where it's at, right? So yeah, just kind of look around with that, and this is going to be the best resource that you have. You're gonna see what Blizzard did. Okay, this is what they did. How am I going to change it? Okay, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And maybe you'll actually use this function and just change what it does. Maybe you will send your own parameters to this function, right? So that it does what it normally does, but with your parameters. Maybe you have a new stat you're going to put in there, or maybe you have a new frame but you want it to do exactly the same way, but you're going to then add stuff to it. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway. So that is getting started with the best resource, which is the default UI. Okay, and so I've got some resources here as well. WoW Interface, WoW Wiki, and WoWpedia are going to be the three big resources of functions, of events, of syntax that WoW uses. Okay, so I'll put a link to this post in the description below. WoW programming is another resource. They're okay. A lot of their stuff is slowly deprecating because they aren't updating it, and the author has said that they're just not going to be able to anymore. But a lot of the stuff is still relevant, and a good learning experience of cross-referencing, like taking something old and then saying, okay, something's changed, it's not working, and then you cross-reference with other resources to figure out what has changed and make it work. There may be a few in here that don't work out of the box because stuff has changed. So off the top of my head, I know that textures have been split into two different functions now. One is colors, so you can define a color with RGBA, and that is completely separate than actually using an art asset. So the art files we just extracted we could use as a texture, but if we want to use color, we'll have to use color texture, a different function, right? So some of this may use the old system where it was a combined thing where you didn't, if you didn't have a texture, you just put a texture in there, right? So that's an example there. This place is great to find frames. You can just kind of look through stuff here, find frames and get to kind of what queries to those queries to the API functions will return, like what the valid parameters are and that kind of stuff. So you just kind of come here and let you see I already looked paper doll, whatever. But this is great to kind of get through there. And there's tutorials of just getting started with your first add-on, how to do a talk file, and just get a basic add-on working. Does this have all of the meta information? I don't know if this has all the meta. Yeah, here we go. So here's all the meta information you'll need. The title, any notes, the author, and there's other stuff, other information like that you'll get in more advanced stuff, like how to declare that you have a dependency, how to declare that you're going to have saved variables, um, and a bunch of other stuff. You can look at more advanced add-ons like DBM or LVY, and you can see they have a lot of meta information just for their internal use, but also referencing other stuff and how to do that. And you can also look at how they use, how they're going into their folders, and just the structure of the add-on and how that's all used. So be sure to use other add-ons as a reference as well. Okay, but the big add-ons are great references to look through. The best place to go for help is WoW Interface. Their developer discussion forums are the de facto place to go right now. I know there's some old forums like Curse and the Ace forums that people are still on, especially some of the older guys. But a lot of people, I think the prolific people that are always on, most of them are on WoW Interface still. You'll get familiar with who they are. And so anyway, go here. You can get help really quick. Surprisingly, the WoW UI forums, you can get a relatively quick help. I've gotten a lot of help here. I have gotten more detailed, in-depth help from the WoW Interface forums. So check them both out, and use any place that can help you. Use it, obviously. If you can't get it, go for it. Check them out. It all changes as time goes on, right? We used to all be on Curse. They used to be huge, but when they did their whole big change around, people kind of just went away. And people go back and forth between Curse and WoW Interface forever. So you can upload to WoW Interface your add-ons. I'm not logged in. You log in here. And here you can see you can have a donation. You get a whole big sheet of explanation. All this stuff, and it's a good place for people, for your users to communicate with you. Curse is similar. Curse has some good good features. Curse actually gives you a rev share of advertisement dollars via excuse me, their reward store where you get points, and the points are based on just volume, I believe. So here you can see for the last year it's been pretty dead because it's been in the end of expansion. Nothing's happened. Nobody's been downloading add-ons and stuff. But you can see since the pre-patch came out, I've had 5 times more activity than I have had for the last year. But you can see you can get Amazon gift cards with your points. You can also save up and get just a PayPal payout. I don't know if this charges a fee. I imagine it does. So I just get Amazon cards. But do what you want. Donations, nobody really donates. I've gotten about $20 total that I've split. I do have one CacGens, one add-on guy that does DCS with me, and I just I randomly get a trickle from all my other add-ons. And this revenue all comes from the Twitch app as well. It kind of incentivizes frequent updates, but I don't know if they have anything to any kind of algorithm to detect if you're trying to abuse that by having insignificant updates every week or every other week or something. It's not worth my time to do that. But anyway, it's kind of annoying. At the end of the month or the beginning of the month, I forget which, around that time, they do kind of a reckoning of I think most of this is just estimates. So at the end or the beginning, they kind of go through and do a reckoning of what was actually paid, and they do the whole calculation for this is like my share of everybody. So they're included everybody's add-ons and stuff. So anyway, so you tend to get more points at the end / beginning of the month when all that happens. WoW Interface does not have a riff share. They do have where you can have donations. I don't particularly like their donation scheme. I have it on there, but when you go and download, it isn't. It's not that distinguished from them per se. Like here, it looks like they're donate to them, not to me. I would prefer it to be up here, but you know, whatever. OVUI, Tuck UI is the same. You can have a donation link. They don't have a rev share. You know, I don't know that they even make money. I know they got this here, but you know, they have to cover server costs, and they're just some bros doing their thing, you know. So those are the three major places to upload, and what to expect as far as money. Of course, don't do this for the money. You're not going to make money. Here you can see all of my little add-ons are just all the stupid stuff I just have to change because it drives me insane. And you know, I got lucky. People liked that, and I've made about, I want to say $150 over the last year, and that is split with Caxton. So you know, like $300 total, which is okay, but it's not gonna, you know, you're not gonna eat off that. You're gonna get a pizza once in a while, which is cool. But anyway, as far as helping you, I don't know what I would put this under. As far as helping, I don't know. WoW Interface has gotten me into, I think it's been them, have gotten me into Battle for Azeroth and Legion Alpha to get started up. But maybe I just got lucky on the draw. I don't know. But they have had, here you can see, if you are an author and you had your add-on on here by April 25th, then they sent your name to Blizzard and you eventually got a beta invite so you can get your add-on working. Curse did this as well for Legion and I think earlier expansions. MOP people could opt into, so I don't think there was anything then. Warlords, I don't remember. Curse might have got me in for Warlords, probably. But you know, just be sure to upload to both places. They're pretty big. Tuck has really, they've really got a good distribution system here. Here you can see. Let me log in again. I think I have pretty similar. Reach, you know, so 18,000 total. Yeah, so on Tuck here you can see I've had 12,000 downloads. So, you know, definitely get on all three systems. WoW Interface is the one I would bet on if you're wanting to make sure you get in early for beta so you can get your add-ons up to date and just so you can get a beta, of course. When you Google, you're going to find, you know, that WoWpedia and WoWWiki are the sources. WoWWiki tends to have occasional, like, legacy information, like stuff that hasn't changed from, like, vanilla that you can't find elsewhere. Just random little stuff that nobody even remembers. Occasionally I'll come across, and it helps me out. That's really about it, I think. We went over extraction. Let me show you the tools in game. And yeah, so let's log in. There's a few tools in game. That will help you with the add-on development. So the first one is fstack, that's frame stack. You can do /fstack or /frame stack, and it'll turn whatever your cursor's under green. And if you don't like where the information panel's at, you can kind of mouse over and it'll change, right? If you hit the Alt key, it will cycle through each of the frames, through the frame stack, obviously, and You can find the name of whatever it is you're looking for. You'll also notice, let me make it more obvious. Here we've got some little tiny squares. Those are the anchor points. So this is saying it's starting up here at the top left and it's going down to the bottom right. And then you can also hit Control and it'll bring up a list, and you can kind of go through everything there. Another useful tool is eTrace. This is Event Trace, and it'll show the events. And so here you can see if I use a buff, each tick is going to show that that event happened. Now if I want to just kind of drill down and look only at, like, say, spell update cooldown, right? I can stop and click on it, and even though more is coming, more events are happening, it's going to stop rolling. I could further just start deleting all this other stuff, and it will hide it permanently until I close this frame, right? So I'm going to delete everything that isn't spell update cooldown. Oh hell, I think I double clicked and got rid of it. We'll go with unit aura instead for this demonstration. Otherwise I would have to reload the UI or close the frame. We'll go with unit aura. And you can see, oh there it is, spell update cooldowns is still there. I'm not interested in all this other stuff. So I can track, I'm going to track spell update cooldown. I'm not looking at this, I'm not looking at that. You get the gist. But I'll keep doing this to show you. I'm not looking at that. So unit aura, here we come. Bam, it's working. Alright, awesome. Now I could go over here. It should see zone change. There's a zone change, awesome. So you can see if stuff is firing. And occasionally you'll find where the event that you're using isn't firing enough. I found a few bugs and reported to Blizzard. Occasionally stuff doesn't work, or it fires in the wrong order or some stuff. And this is going to help you figure out what the hell is going on. Sometimes you're just using the wrong event, and something that you would never have thought of as firing. Just because it's, you know, some legacy thing, or you know, like maybe some garrison thing is firing for the order hall, you know, that kind of stuff. And so the last thing is the API. So /API will show you a list, and you can search the API, and this will let you look for frames, functions, and what parameters you can look for, what returns you can get, what events are going to fire, all that kind of stuff. And so here we can just do /API system list, and it's going to list all this stuff. And so we can kind of look through. Let's look at the minimap stuff. Okay, so we clicked on minimap. Okay, so what are we going to look at? Tracking or zoom? Look at zoom. Minimap update zoom. Okay, so that's going to be the event that's going to fire when we update that. Okay, cool. That's going to return our XY position. Okay. So unit target YX. Awesome. So you can use that, you know, kind of get drill down what you're looking for. And I think that is all of the tools in game. If not, let me know, because I can always use more. And so anyway, I think that is it. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. Feel free to PM me if you want to do that instead. I'm not on Tuck. I usually just upload there. I'm not on the forums or anything. I am on Curse all the time, and on WoW interface as well. I'm also on Reddit. If you're on the WoW here, we are on WoW Addons, and there's a WoW UI Reddit as well. I usually see all those posts, and I help out a lot. Those are okay. Those are more community driven. If you want to try to pop in there and get some information or help or anything, you might get some help there as well. But yeah, really, just head on over to WoW interface into those forums to get help. But anyway, I'll put a link to this post in the description. And good luck on your add-ons and shares.